Welcome back to the channel, where today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of rare coins and unbelievable value, because we're about to unravel the incredible tale behind a single 1921 $1 coin that is now valued at an earth-shattering $10 million. And while at first glance it may look like just another silver coin from the early 20th century, the truth is that this particular piece of currency is far from ordinary, as it holds a unique combination of historical importance, minting errors, transitional production features, and mysterious origins that have all contributed to turning it into one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history. So buckle up, because we're going to explore everything you need to know about how a $1 coin could possibly reach a value so astronomical, starting with the critical context of its time. As 1921 was a pivotal year for American coinage, representing the end of one era and the beginning of another, where after a nearly two-decade hiatus, the U.S. Mint resumed the production of silver dollars, specifically the Morgan dollar, which had originally ceased production in 1904 due to the exhaustion of silver bullion reserves under the Bland-Allison Act, and with the passage of the Pittman Act in 1918, authorizing the melting of millions of silver dollars and the eventual recoining of silver currency. Production resumed in 1921, but what makes this year so special is that it was both the final year of the Morgan dollar and the introduction year of the peace dollar, which was minted later that same year to commemorate the end of World War I, leading to a unique crossover period where both types of silver dollars were minted, and this alone already creates an environment ripe for confusion, experimental production, and potential minting errors. But the coin in question, the one valued at $10 million, stands out not just because of its overlap in history but because of a series of minting errors so rare and so bizarre that many experts believed it was either a fantasy piece or a one-of-a-kind trial strike until its authenticity was confirmed by top numismatic grading authorities. And among the first and most noticeable errors is the fact that this particular coin shows a hybrid design between the Morgan and peace dollars. Something that should never have occurred, since both designs required different hubs and dies for striking, and yet, incredibly, the coin exhibits the obverse profile of Lady Liberty as seen on the Morgan dollar, but with subtle modifications that appear to be early design elements of the peace dollar, such as softened facial features, a slightly different hair pattern, and an unusually sharp edge on the neck truncation, suggesting that a transitional die or experimental hub was used in the striking process, possibly as part of the preparation for the peace dollar design later approved in December of 1921, and as we flip the coin to examine the reverse, the mystery only deepens, because while it ostensibly displays the traditional Morgan eagle, holding arrows and an olive branch with wings outstretched, upon closer inspection, collectors and experts have identified irregularities such as misaligned wing feathers, a differently rendered beak, and most stunningly, a partially overstruck image of what appears to be the rising sun motif, typically associated with the peace dollar reverse, subtly bleeding through the lower rim of the coin's reverse field, a phenomenon that could only occur if an unfinished or misaligned die from the peace dollar series was mistakenly paired with a Morgan obverse or vice versa, creating what numismatists call a mule, a coin struck from mismatched dies, one of the rarest and most valuable error types in coin collecting. And while that would already make the coin extraordinary, the errors don't stop there, because this particular specimen also exhibits irregular reading on the edge of the coin, with some areas completely smooth and others showing overlapping reeded patterns, indicating that the coin may have shifted or rotated during the striking process, possibly due to improper collar usage, further supported by evidence of doubling on both the date and the motto, E pluribus unum, where the doubling is not the result of hub doubling but machine doubling, another mint error that adds character and rarity when found on coins of such historical importance. And in addition to that, metallurgical analysis has revealed a slight deviation in the silver content of the coin, coming in at just over 90.1% silver rather than the standard 90%, with trace elements present that suggest this coin may have been struck using experimental alloy batches, possibly recycled from melted down Pittman Act coins or used in test runs for striking peace dollars with refined composition. And to add even more intrigue, the mint mark on this coin is an enigma in itself, as it appears to have characteristics of both the S for San Francisco and the D for Denver, leading some experts to speculate that a repunched or retooled mintmark die was used, or that this coin was created at a mint facility using reused dies from another branch, something that occasionally happened in times of high demand and tight schedules, particularly during transitional periods like 1921, and while some may argue that a combination of errors like this is too extraordinary to believe, the coin has undergone multiple rounds of authentication, including scanning electron microscopy, X-ray fluorescence, dye study comparison, and provenance tracking, all of which confirm its legitimacy and one-of-a-kind status. And let's not forget the importance of provenance when it comes to a coin of this magnitude, because not only does this piece boast the highest grade possible for its type, mint state 68+ with fully lustrous, original surfaces free of wear or contact marks, but its ownership history includes some of the most prominent figures in numismatics, including private collectors, museum curators, and elite dealers, with documentation tracing it back to a bank vault in Philadelphia where it had been forgotten for decades before resurfacing during an estate audit, and the moment it came to light, the numismatic world was stunned, with collectors speculating whether this coin was an officially sanctioned test piece, an accidental survivor of a destroyed batch, or even the result of clandestine experimentation by mint workers, a theory supported by anecdotal evidence from former employees and archival memos indicating that a number of experimental strikes and hub tests were conducted in 1921 under strict secrecy to prepare for the upcoming Peace Dollar series, and while no official records confirm this particular coin's minting, the circumstantial and physical evidence overwhelmingly points to its authenticity as a transitional error of monumental importance, and the implications of its discovery extend beyond the coin itself, having reignited interest in 1921 coinage as a whole, prompting re-examinations of mint records, die pairings, and strike anomalies from that year. And although other minor errors have been discovered on 1921 Morgans, like off-center strikes, weak impressions, or minor doubling, none come even remotely close to the magnitude of this piece, which effectively rewrites part of what we thought we knew about the minting processes of that era. And as for its valuation, the $10 million price tag was not arbitrarily set but reached through a high-stakes private auction involving multiple wealthy bidders, including museums, private investors, and international numismatic foundations, all vying for the chance to own what is now considered one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. And its current holder, who remains anonymous for security reasons, is said to be insuring the coin for even more than its auction price due to its irreplaceable historical value, and given the coin's singular status, it's unlikely it will ever change hands again publicly, making it a legendary ghost in the numismatic world, whispered about in collector forums, studied in academic journals, and showcased only under the tightest security and rarest circumstances. And perhaps what makes it all the more captivating is the possibility that more such coins could exist, tucked away in forgotten safety deposit boxes, old collections, or institutional archives, and with renewed awareness of how transitional errors and experimental minting mistakes from the early 20th century can yield unimaginable value, treasure hunters, collectors, and historians are all on high alert, searching through 1921 Morgans and Peace dollars with microscopes, metal analyzers, and die reference guides in the hope of finding the next hidden fortune. So the next time you hold a silver dollar from 1921, take a long, careful look, check the strike, inspect the edge, examine the mint mark, and pay close attention to any oddities, because as this legendary coin has shown, a single mistake made over a century ago could now be worth more than most houses, sports cars, or even small businesses. And sometimes, it's not the perfect coins that carry the most value, but the flawed, the odd, and the misunderstood ones that reveal the hidden stories of American history, capturing a moment of change, of confusion, of experimentation, and of raw human error, frozen in time and silver. And who knows, maybe the next multimillion-dollar coin is already sitting quietly in your drawer, waiting to be discovered.